Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave, the home of the
Next up is roll call, and we are all present today. So we all showed up together. Next up, Director Potts, would you please read the mission and vision statement?
Mission statement. The Davenport Community School District is dedicated to growing excellence in academics, the arts, and athletics for every child by ensuring the highest quality education in an environment shaped by our diverse community, preparing our students to be lifelong learners and productive citizens. Vision statement. Education that challenges conventional thinking, prepares all students to compete in a global society, and inspires our students, parents, staff, and community to answer the question, what if?
Thank you. Director Beck, would you please read the guiding principles?
Guiding principles. Opportunity. We provide abundant opportunities to empower students to reach their full potential academically, creatively, and socially. Collaboration. We foster an environment that allows students, families, and community stakeholders to come together for the betterment of our students' education and future. Transparency. We share relevant and important information with our students, families, and the community to maintain open and productive communication.
Thank you. And Superintendent Schneckloff, would you please read the goal?
Goal number 4, foster the innovative use of finances, facilities, and staff. And goal number 3, all students experience a safe learning environment.
Thank you. Next up is board reports. Anybody? Director Potts, Director Poston, and myself were showing up together last Friday. It was awesome. And my board report's going to be more like a calendar, what's coming up. No meeting next week. It's the 5th Monday. And then the following week is the first Monday in September. We do not have a cow meeting because it's Labor Day. There are 2 musicals in September, one at Central, it's Little Shop of Horrors. The other at North is Dear Evan Hansen. So please go out and support the drama departments. Football is starting out, so head out to the stadium. And on September 11th, West and Central play. It's a Thursday, and there will be a celebration of the 50th anniversary of the state championship team for Central. So have fun, go to a football game. Next up is open forum. Does anybody else have a board report before I move on? Okay. First up is Scott McConley. Would you, sorry, I'm kind of ahead of myself here. Open forum is a time for members of the community to give input at a board meeting regarding school district issues or concerns. Individuals who want to speak, please fill out the open forum request and give it to the board secretary prior to open forum. The form is available in hard copy for in-person attendees or on the school board page of the district's webpage for those who want to participate virtually. Virtual participation must email their request to boardcomments@mail.davenport.k12.ia.us by 3 p.m. on the day of the board meeting. The board will not act on any issue presented during open forum if it was not published as an agenda item. Iowa Open Meetings Law prohibits action on any issue that is not on the agenda. The president may set the amount of time allowed for individuals to speak. It will be 2 minutes. The board asks that no charges or complaints be made against individual employees of the district or community. Remarks that reflect negatively on the character or motives of any person will be called out of order. You'll be asked to state your name and home address prior to making remarks. Please note that board meetings are recorded and the recordings are available online. Stacy, there were no virtual ones, right? Okay, thank you. So up first is Scott McConley. Please state your name and address, and you'll have 2 minutes.
Hello, my name is Scott McConnell. I live on Julianne Road in Bettendorf. I represent Quad Cities Advocates. It's a nonprofit that I founded advocating for accessibility in the Quad Cities. I brought it to the board's attention through a grievance that was emailed, as well as a statement that was made in the end of May and beginning of June, and also spoke to the city board, I believe it was June 6th, regarding the pedestrian access at Mid-City High School. I am pleased to hear that there is progress being made on the plans for that. I found that out through the city, and that is part of my continuing concern, is that I did not hear it through anyone from the district. The district's policy is that when a Title II ADA and discrimination grievance is filed, that it would be responded to within a reasonable amount of time. Mine was filed May 28th. At this time, the only response that I've received after multiple emails and voicemails was the Associate Human Resources Director stating that it had been received. I've heard nothing else. My concern with that, again, is that other persons who might reach out and make a statement, if they are responded to the same way, will not have their voice heard. I don't understand why no one has responded even after there was a receipt by the district of a civil rights complaint from the state, which I also responded to. I noted on there that there was progress being made on the project, so I was pleased to be able to do that, but asked that it be kept open because no response has been made and no timeline has been provided or discussed with me. I'll stick around to the end of the meeting. I hear my timer going off, but those are my concerns. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is Shannon Henderson. Go to the podium and just push the button. It'll turn green. State your name and address.
Hello, my name is Shannon Henderson, and I live 6213 Western Avenue in Davenport. I'm coming to you guys today because I put in an open enrollment late. I guess you guys' policy is by March, and I did it late off the strength of it's just me and my kids now. I don't have like anyone to babysit them, and I be at work at 3 in the morning. So now with school starting, I don't have anyone to send them off. My oldest is 11, the youngest is 8. I don't have anyone to help me, only in Parkview. And I was trying to get them in North Scott schools where I have people that can help me get them to and from school while I work. But it was denied. So I'm here today, I guess, to explain more so you guys can understand my situation. That it's just us. And they missed the first day of school today because I got to work. I had to work. And they was in Parkview. So I don't know. I don't want to have to choose from quitting my job and I guess being homeless to getting them to and from school. That's really all I need to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is the consent agenda. May I have a motion?
Madam President,
Director Hayes.
I move that the consent agenda be accepted as read.
Could I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there any questions? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next up is committee reports, breaking barriers.
Yes, we want to publicly thank the Davenport Schools Foundation and KWQC who partnered on the Back to School Drive for school supplies. All students in need of supplies have access as needed on a continuous basis. And again, we want to thank the foundation as well as KWQC.
Thank you. Legislative advocacy, not at this time. Local School Advisory Committee.
None at this time, but I believe we will be setting our calendar for the year shortly.
Thank you. Long Range Facility Planning.
None at this time.
No policies, no recognition. And finance? Nope, not at this time. Next up, items requiring action, strategic plan. May I have a motion?
Madam President,
Director Beck.
I move the board approve the strategic plan as presented and also to serve as the focus for the 26-27 Local School Improvement Advisory Committee.
Could I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there any questions? You should have all received a packet with the strategic plan in it at the board table, so. Director Boston.
Just a comment on under annual objectives. One of the items is expand preschool access, and I think this is going to be critical for the district. Again, finances for that is going to be hard to come by, but I think by expanding the preschool, we'll be able to take care of a lot of the other objectives that are listed here in the strategic plan.
Director Barnes.
Just a comment. I appreciate the administration's emphasis on a strategic plan and the fact that it's not just a long list of things to check off and do, but more an orientation towards the future of this school district. Appreciate very much so the fact that it's focused on the right things relative to our emphasis on excellence, and also appreciate the fact that this is not just about this year, but the subsequent years. So I want to commend the administration for great work on this strategic plan, and am enthusiastic about supporting it.
Director Yonke.
Thank you. I actually had a question or two when looking at it, and I apologize for missing. We were in Florida, so I didn't have much of a chance on the other meeting. I noticed with these strategic goals and kind of looking at last year's, do we ever get an update? Like, if this is our plan for the school year, do we get updates as far as like, here's what we accomplished from that strategic plan? And if so, I mean, maybe I missed it. It's quite possible.
Yeah, so we set our data review cadence for the year. For example, in December, we review our discipline, our graduation rates, because then we approved it. So it's set on a cadence throughout the school year. And then we put an emphasis in our committee of the wholes to go over our reading data, to go over graduation data. And so it staggers throughout the course of the year. If it would be helpful, we can call out the sections of the strategic plan that we're actually talking about and working on. throughout the course of the year, if that would be helpful.
That would be helpful for me being a little bit newer to the board. And then question number 2, if I may. I noticed on here, like, I really like the idea of trying to build the volunteer and mentor programs. Is it 2 separate ones that we're building? Because then we're talking about building a volunteer program for 6th grade intramurals, which really fell underneath what the AD talked about building underneath his plan. So is that 2 separate tracks of volunteers?
That one is because we talked about we don't always get people to volunteer for intramurals. And since the 6th graders moving up, that's kind of a new thing.
Don't mind. Sorry.
So,
Yes, these are I would piggyback, these are completely different things than intramurals.
All right.
And do I see that on, are you on this page here?
Yeah, I jumped from here to here. I'm sorry.
Does it say intramurals on there?
Yeah, it does. The build volunteer program to support 6th grade intramurals, which I'm assuming is to build that feeder program that was part of like the designation underneath the AD that came out in October of like 2024, like that meeting right here. Expand. Yeah. On here? Yeah, on the next page. I mean, that's what I'm looking at from the volunteer mentoring to like this.
Got it. I would say that these are extracurricular access and participation, so those are 2 separate things.
Okay, and I understand that we're building that because that was something that was decided was really important for sports, those feeder programs. But have we ever considered, like, because I'm gonna beat this drum into the ground, we already have a volunteer sports program where Unified Sports that go and competes at the state level that is purely volunteer. Their coaches, their teacher coaches don't get paid. It's almost, as a parent who goes, because our kid will go, it's almost embarrassing because it's not terribly well organized. And so I'm sitting here looking at, we're building a volunteer program for 6th grade intramurals, and we have high schools and other schools expanding this, and we're not really touching upon that. And that's volunteer as well.
I guess I'm a little confused about
How they tie together?
No, what the specific ask is.
I guess I'm wondering just how we missed that. I mean, I compared last year's strategic plan to this year's and just kind of noticed things that were
from the
changed, moved.
Unified Champions volunteers.
I'm sorry, what?
The Unified Champions volunteers.
Yeah. I mean, that's a volunteer program too. The athletes are honored at the spring recognition. I mean, so I guess I'm not understanding like why that couldn't be a focus as well, especially considering we have a banner in one of our high schools for me nationally recognized.
We do. So what I hear you saying is that you want the program to go down to the middle schools.
Yeah. And I think we should be working to expand that. I mean, if that is truly a feather in our cap, as I've spoken with like current and previous board members prior to my time on the board, that should be something that if we're building volunteer programs.
Because our Unified Champions program is very strong at the high schools. What I hear you saying is
no, they're not.
Expand it to the middle schools.
Well, it's not as strong in the high school as what you would think as somebody who is very active in that. And we can have a side conversation about that later. But absolutely, it should be expanded to the middle schools and the elementaries. And whatever role a board member could take in that, I'm happy to take that on. And then the only other, I mean, and I'm sorry that I'm kind of coming into this different, but I did have a question about one of the board strategic goals, and then I promise I will move on. It's the second one where it says secondary students will meet or exceed state average percentage of students at or above benchmark or making 1 year's growth in the ISAP in ELA/math science. I guess when I'm looking at that goal, and it is a goal, right? Okay, so it's a goal. The or is kind of catching me, where it's saying, so you've got these, will meet or exceeds, perfectly fine, or making 1 year's growth. With making 1 year's growth, some of those students still will not be closing that gap. Number 2. And that's great as somebody who is very much aware, like language disabilities, things like that. I mean, I guess I'm just looking at, as we're looking at closing gaps and making that advancement, because we changed our goal from last year to like, what was it, like, we wanted third graders 80%, whatever. And I've got that. I guess I'm just a little caught off. The second one, the making 1 year's growth, it's not as big of a,
I think for our students that are proficient, that are following our track as we move forward, the 1 year's growth keeps them on track. But it probably would be unclear for anybody that's years behind. They do need to make more than 1 year's worth of growth. So, and that is a goal that we work on for all of our students that are behind.
yeah, I was just curious because it just seemed, even then it's, if you're 2 years behind or whatever, you're not closing that gap. So, thank you.
Director Beck.
If I could speak to that, I think some of it is has been born out of discussions we had in the past of what are realistic goals, and not that we don't expect all students to be able to succeed. Sorry, I didn't expect to talk. Or not that we don't think that we should be closing those gaps, but when you're asked to put a benchmark or a goal in place, having some realism about it makes it more attainable, and at least for me, and helps achieve that goal. It's not saying this is where we're going to stop. This is the minimum we want to do. So that's how I interpret it. And so it's definitely not that we don't want to close those gaps. It's just we want to set realistic goals for the district as a bare minimum, as the least we can do.
Well, I'm just saying, and I apologize for cutting in here. I mean, the district has actually done a lot of things to really improve and like closing the gaps, especially in reading from Spire within your tier 2 and tier 3 groups, which I will break my arm patting myself on the back for that one, because that was my daughter and myself bringing that to our district, which is now gone full across the district, or so I'm told. So, I mean, I don't know. I was just curious about it because it caught me as one of the areas where I'm wondering about that, but that's fine. It was just a question.
Okay, are there any others? Director Boston.
Yeah, I'm a little bit miffed because some of us on this board spent a couple hours at a committee of the whole meeting reviewing all this strategic plan, and we had a very good discussion. So, Director Yankee, if you want to participate in some of this, you've got to attend the meetings and participate and get involved. I have the floor. Mm-hmm. I'm tired of coming back, interjecting into meetings when this was fully discussed at a committee of the whole meeting.
And if I may respond to that, Director Poston, I apologize for being out of state, and I apologize for working full time. And I do my best to attend as I can, and I am here. But being a board member, I can ask those questions, and I'm sorry you're miffed about it. But those are questions that I saw and I wanted to ask.
Okay. Anybody else have a question about? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next up, the Title IX Equity Coordinator. May I have a motion?
President,
Director Hayes.
I move the board accept the following individuals for the Title IX Coordinator: Jabari Woods, Director of Human Resources and Equity, and Jamie Weinzerell, Executive Director of Human Resources and Equity.
Could I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. Are there any questions? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next up, level 1 and level 2 investigators. May I have a motion?
Madam President,
Director Beck.
I recommend that the board accept and approve the following individuals as the level 1 or level 2 investigators. Level 1, Human Resources and Equity, Jabari Woods, Director of Human Resources and Equity, Jamie Weinzerl, Executive Director of Human Resources and Equity, Nicole Stroop, Human Resources Specialist, Josh Blair, Human Resources Specialist. Level 2, Celia Smiley, SAS Associates, Dan Conroy at Paramar Security and Research, Tim Wise at Graybeard Investigations, and William DeVries at Graybeard Investigations.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Are there any questions? I do. Do we add to, are Josh and Nicole added to this? I thought we only had two before. Not that that's a big deal, but
Yes.
they got added. Okay. Any other questions? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next up, Smart Middle School addition and renovation project change order for additional rebar and grout to reinforce the walls. May I have a motion?
Madam President,
Director Hayes.
I move the board approve the change order for Bill Bruce Builders in the amount of $57,978.76.
Could I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there any questions? Director Poston.
I'm getting tired of these change orders, especially when it's an error on part of the architect or on the part of the engineer. I don't think this is fair to the school district, and I'm tired of the school district getting stuck with these change orders when it's not the contractor's fault. It's the architect and it's the engineer's fault, and I'm sick and tired of it.
John, would you like to respond?
Completely understandable. It, from what I gathered from talking to the engineer, it is information that was not included in the bid document, so it wasn't priced into the construction. It is required. It's not for anything that relates to the load-bearing structure. It's non-load-bearing walls need reinforcement in them. The contractor recognized that that was something that was missing. It came as a question that got clarified. They priced it out. We went back and picked apart the pricing and got that number down because the quantity was a bit off. That was my team doing that just out of due diligence to make sure it was a fair cost. It is unfortunate that it didn't get into the contract. Had it been in the drawings from day one, the cost would have been $57,000 higher from any other bidder. It does come at a time where we all wish it would have been in there, and it is a recognizable omission in the document. So you are completely within your discretion to feel the upsetness about that, for sure.
Anybody else? Director Beck?
I guess along the same lines, I would like to know what the difference in the original bids. You know, we choose the lowest responsible bidder, right? And then if we add change orders, did we now pay more than we would have had we gone with a higher bid? Not that this is necessarily their fault in this case, but we've had a lot of change orders for this project.
So, yeah, this is a complicated question with a complex answer. So there's multiple kinds of change orders. There are changes in scope. We decide we want to do something different. So we've absorbed those in this project. We have change orders for unforeseen conditions. We have some of these, we dug into the ground and things were different, and that required us to react differently, or you know, as we dig into the interface against the existing building, that does require some additional expense. There are, you know, like this one would be an omission, something that just didn't get integrated into the documents. We've had a fair amount of change orders on both Sudlow and Smart and North for winter conditions. We've explained that to everyone as nobody knows what winter is like. And if you bid it into the scope of the project, there's a question of, do you always get a fair shake of getting that back. So we roll the dice and assume that hopefully you don't need to spend a lot of money on winter conditions, but unfortunately on all three projects you spend a considerable amount. The good news is the winter coming up is supposed to be warmer. If you remember the West High School project, we only had about 1 week of lost time due to winter. When going into these projects, we had a discussion of would we absorb that. So that being said, on Smart Middle School, if it's okay to share numbers, no, just general.
Man,
Mhm.
I would like you. What I think Dr. Beck's question is, did everybody have the same right at bidding, or did this change things?
Yep.
So the original question is that.
Yes. So we had a difference of more than 5% of the construction cost between the low bidder and the next low bidder. This is my question about numbers. You had about 5% difference in cost. Right now, with all these different types of change orders, you're about 0.9% higher in construction cost. So you would have a lot of room before you're ever to the next bidder. The cautionary tale is the next bidder would be faced with some of these same things, which would have raised their cost as well. Does that? Sorry for the long-winded answer.
No, it's fine because I hadn't thought about all the different kinds of change orders. But no, explaining that, most of them that we've had would have been in place anyway. It's not. I appreciate that, and that the percentage that we're seeing here is a lot less than the difference in the bids. Okay, thank you.
Well, and this does seem like engineering 101, that the rebar should have been in there and the cement, and it was okay when it went through Sudlow, but not Smart, and same engineer, right?
So
am I right?
This is a frustration of the guy who's responsible for all of this for you. And my conversation with the engineer is that it's unacceptable, and we're gonna do something to make that a little bit more palatable for the district on our end, because every time you're faced with this, whether it's a low number or it would have been in everybody's contract, the fact that you have to sit here and answer to the community for this, that causes stress, and we recognize that, and there is a way of calculating what that means, and we'll have a further discussion. I've loosely talked to TJ about this, and we'll have a deeper conversation about that, because it is not the first one of this type that we have kind of run into with them.
Okay. Check the pots.
Well, and not all of the change orders we had are a result of Bruce Builders. I mean, Mid-America hit us for a chunk of change because they decided we had to move a gas line.
And the water company.
Huh?
And the water company.
And the water company.
Yes.
Yeah.
You've had utilities, you've had again some unforeseens. You've even had the interesting thing of the type of technology you're using changed, and we had to change that. And yes, it costs money, but if you didn't do it now, it would cost you a whole lot of more money later to do that.
Well, and some of them are ours. You clearly point them out. We requested the change, so that's on us. Yep.
The fact about this change order is that we had really pressed John to do one major thing. If this were in the bid, we would have paid for the materials and the labor. The materials aren't really our main concern. We're pressing you to make sure that the labor costs are not above and beyond what we normally would have paid, and even to go after that even more aggressively. So the charge that we have given John, and similar to other projects, similar to other events and the projects that we have, is that we do believe we would have paid for the materials, but anything additional above and beyond that's where we're really pushing Bray and John's team to ensure that that's where we're not incurring any additional costs. And anytime there is a change order, the labor is different. And I think that's what you just said, John. You're going to be working with this company to make sure that that is made whole.
Correct. We also do the math to pick these apart because any change order that comes before you, we don't instantly just agree that that's the right thing. That we have to decide if we agree with it, then we have to decide if we agree with the number, and then we have to agree with all the other baggage that comes along with that, and it becomes a negotiation. So this one in particular started about 6 weeks ago, and we finally arrived at a resolution to what that number should be and what it takes moving forward.
Did this slow down work down there then?
If this did not get approved tonight, it would.
Oh.
So we're at the critical impasse on this right now.
Gotcha. Anybody else? Director
Call
Ball?
the question.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Next up, North Co. 38. Is that Co?
Change order.
Oh, I was like, Co, where's it? Gotcha. North change order 38, boiler replacement.
Madam President,
Director Hayes.
I move the board approve the change order for Bill Bruce Builders in the amount of $122,540.74.
Could I have a second?
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Are there any questions? I do have a question. What's the life of a boiler?
The old ones used to last like 50 years. Newer ones are probably more between 10 to 20 years, depending on how they're taken care of. So it really,
No way.
they run more high efficient, but they're more picky about the water that goes into them, and you got to be very diligent about taking care of them. So,
Gotcha. Any other questions? Director Boston.
So Josh, this boiler was not in the initial bid. Is that correct?
that's correct.
Okay. So why aren't we going out and getting a bid for this? We're talking about 122,000. Why aren't we getting a bid for this boiler?
The time they're working on this equipment right now is critical. So they're doing boiler work in that room right now, hooking up all the systems at the same time. So the speed at which we can do this goes quicker, obviously, if we can do it this way. The cost difference, I don't think is going to be very much difference.
How do you know that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that for sure, but we've purchased a number of them, but the labor's already there, the equipment's already there to do it. They don't have to remobilize another project. So if they had to remobilize another project, bring in contractors and do it separate within the scope of that, I would assume actually it might cost more.
Director Barnes.
So this does not require any customization. This is, for lack of a better term, an off-the-shelf boiler.
Yeah, I mean, it's stuff they can get all the time. And the reason we're only
So
doing
no
this,
lead time at all. I mean, you could have this here.
there's a little bit of lead time, but not like 6 months. You're talking a short period of time.
Okay.
And I feel like we were trying to save money and not replace it. We really didn't want to, right? We were trying to save the old one and make it last as long as possible. It just didn't work out that we thought it was going to last as long as it did.
Director Hayes.
Josh, do you have an estimate about how old this boiler is?
The one that's being replaced, I believe it's between 10 and 15 years old or so, but it's not super old either.
Okay. Now you said we're already working on it. Does that mean that you've already started the process? Or?
Some of the work's been going on at North, but I don't think they're deep into it. John, do you know are they deeper into that than I think?
So they're doing pump and piping changes in the boiler room, not for this particular boiler, but they're adding a boiler already and they're rerouting the piping. There's a chance to change this boiler now and integrate it with the new piping, but that they haven't done any of that work as of yet, if that makes sense.
Director Barnes?
I think the question for me, again, it's the change order for Bill Bruce Builders of $122,000. I guess I don't know how much of that is the material and how much of that is the labor and how much of that goes to Bill Bruce. I mean, boilers are not inexpensive items, and so I guess what I'm struggling with here is, what's going to our contractor, and what is the actual cost of the material, the boiler itself.
Typically, like Bruce Builders will mark up project costs if it's a change order between 5 and 10%. So potentially it would be that much more for them to do that. But if we were to pay a contractor come in here to do it separate later on and remobilize, bring it all in, we're probably going to pay that too.
I think the question is, how much is the boiler?
If I had to guess, the boiler is probably $90,000 to $100,000.
Okay, that is helpful, right?
Yeah.
I mean, these are expensive pieces of material, and so I mean, our recommended motion is to pay Bruce Builders $122,000, but this is a $90,000 piece of material that we can't go without in North. That would be helpful to know from my perspective.
John was able to pull it up while we're talking, so the boiler cost itself is about $89,000.
That is very helpful, at least for me.
Any other questions? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Discussion items, North Tennis Court Resurface Project. I assume this is Josh's.
All right. So if you guys have been over to West High School lately, you would see the updated tennis courts. This is what we're looking to do similarly at North before it becomes in the condition that West was. So this would be updating their tennis courts, new fencing, new surface, new nets, windscreen around it. The West tennis court project was slightly less. The reason for that is we didn't put in new netting, new posts, and new wrap. In this case, we're gonna do that in the project, so it costs a little bit more. And again, this is an estimate until we get the bids. But yeah, any questions about that?
What's the life of a tennis court? Well, we just keep seeing everybody's getting new tennis courts in there. So how long is this going to last?
I would assume 25 to 30 years. They shouldn't shift around much. There's not heavy equipment on them.
Got it. Is that your question?
No, this might be a question actually for the superintendent and for the administration. What are our expectations for team participation and growth when we make an investment like this? What is the what is the expectation of the athletic director district wide, the athletic director at the school, and the coach to grow participation? In my world, we wouldn't do this at the college level unless we had an expectation for roster participation and growth. So it might not be an answer you can provide tonight, but it's certainly a curiosity of mine.
It is an expectation that our rosters are growing. The other component to these facilities like this are, I do believe, John, help me answer this one. Do we use these during our PE times as well? They are. So there's a little bit of a component to that. And we also have kind of set our district standard to ensure that our facilities are where they are. And in the next 5 to 10 years, we will need to evaluate each one of our programs, just as we did for high school swimming, as we move into the future.
Well, I appreciate that response, and that's actually a really key response, right? Because right now we're upgrading at every single one of our schools, and if there is a time where we have combined programs, we can't continue to afford to do that. And so it would be at least helpful for me to understand roster size expectations. And I understand the instructional value of recreation and a gym class, but I also know that recreational value and a gym class, the expectation for facility versus varsity competition is a lot different. So
Could we turn any of them into a pickleball court?
I'm afraid to answer that question.
Just asking. Just in case down the road we don't need a tennis court. Okay, any other questions? Next up, Harrison, replacement of chiller.
The chiller at Harrison's, as you can see, is running at 50%. It's starting to fail. It's reached its useful life. The Freon that's in it is R22, which is bad for the environment. So we're trying to get rid of as much of that stuff as possible and updating when we can. This would be to replace the chiller at that building so that the cooling can run like it's supposed to. Right now, we're obviously, if it says we're at 50%, we're in a bind if it goes down. Any questions?
Director Boston.
How long has it been running at 50%?
I would say, I believe it was running at 50% since spring, maybe over the summer.
Anybody else? Like, is it hot in there, or it's just working really hard to keep it cold?
I think we're keeping up okay on those days when it's 90 to 100 degrees. It's running full as it can and barely keeping up.
Anybody else? Okay, this is my question of the night, apparently. How long does a chiller last?
Chillers can last around 20 years as well.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, this will come up for an action item in September. Brady Stadium turf replacement project.
All right, so this is actually pretty big. We are discussing replacing the turf at Brady Street, which is about 9 years old right now. So it was put in 2018. We're also talking about repainting the track in this project as well. But if you guys recall, was about a year or two ago, the stadium actually flooded a little bit, which I'm sure did not help that turf at all as far as useful life goes. But over the years, obviously, turf can last on average about 10 years. But we play a lot of sports on there. I can't name all the teams that play out there, but between middle schools and high schools and JVs and college sports and band and soccer, we utilize that turf all the time. So actually making it last to 10 years has been a pretty good job. I mean, from my perspective of what I'm hearing. So this would be to get a project going to start and get the replacement done next summer. As soon as we can get on that surface. Any questions?
Director Barnes.
Josh, I don't think in our initial materials there was any reference to track resurfacing or painting. So it certainly, at least from my perspective, would be helpful to keep those two things separate. Would summer replacement disrupt any scheduled initiatives and activities?
That's something I'm going to have to figure out exactly with Dave, the athletic directors, and Kevin, and anybody else who uses the field, obviously. I can't tell you right now exactly when that period would fall perfectly, but we will work with our ADs to figure out when that is.
I will say getting this turf to last 9 years is nothing short of a miracle given the amount of activity on that particular field. So this seems like an important investment for the school district, but I think it would be helpful to know if it also causes disruption and potential disruption to any revenue, if there's any type of rental that the district relies on during the summer months when there is disruption.
Good point. Yep.
Anybody else? Director Beck?
It's already on. Just out of curiosity, how long does it take usually to replace the turf? Is this like a 2-week project, a 2-month project?
I would say a couple of months probably before it's all done. And if you run into anything when you open up the field or take it off, then you add to that time. But I'm hoping everything's okay underneath, and what was put in previously is still in good condition. But you don't always know until you know and you open up and look. But
Okay, so we can reasonably expect it to take up the whole summer.
yeah, it's going to take the majority of the summer to do it.
Okay.
Director Poston?
So is the surface going to be similar to our other fields that we just put in, and what kind of fill underneath would it be?
It would be similar, and we'll have the rubber fill. I don't know if we'll do exactly the same stuff.
I mean, is it going to have a real short nap to it, or is there going to be like the fields that we're looking at now, like the soccer fields?
I can't answer that question fully yet because this is just an estimate. So we're gonna have to sit down and go through all that stuff with our engineers and our contract recommendations from I can't really say for sure, but a company in town here that does a lot of turf projects. We're probably going to talk to them about it and see what's the best recommended surface to use right now. I don't want to nail us down to one because there could be something that works a little better.
Anybody else? We don't rent out to the college Ambrose anymore, do we? So
No.
It's just our own use.
Right now, it's our own use.
Got it. Any other questions? Okay, this will come back again. Next up, North High Phase 2 Communication Infrastructure Project.
This is a really probably more of an IT project, but it falls within kind of some of the stuff we're already working on. So this would be to get your Wi-Fi, your low voltage, your cable hookups in the dance room, the wrestling room, the engineering classrooms, the pole barn that's coming in those areas. It's about $250,000, which is pretty expensive, but it works. It's probably similar to what costs we've done in other projects lately are. So it's going to be running all over this place. They have to pull wire, put new conduits in, put new boxes in walls, things like that. And also it's within the new building. So any questions around what this is about or where it's located?
Director Poston?
So explain to me, it needs to be brought up to district standards for low voltage. What are you referring to there?
So like the cabling they run on a wall, I don't know the numbers to them, but a lot of times they will change from cat cable C to cat cable D. I don't know the exact numbers, but bringing those cabling and the cable up to what we run data through now. So there's older data cables that don't run the data through it as well as it does today.
So you're not saying that there's low voltage. You may need low voltage for some of the cables. Is that what it is?
Yeah, some of it runs on low voltage, but some of it can be projectors and TVs, things like that connect to it. Classroom space, just kind of updating classroom spaces.
Director Beck?
I apologize if I missed this, but is this part of our initial plan?
It is part of the plan. We separated this out because it seems to work a little better with IT. They have specific engineers they like to work with, and it goes better when they work with those people. If we put them into a group with like my mechanical engineers, it seems like they don't quite work as well together. So they're very specific about who they use. So we separated out this project so that they could work with the folks they like.
Okay, but it's part of the original. Okay.
Yep.
Any other questions? Just a comment, our chiller in this building is working very well tonight.
Yes, it is.
Okay, next up, superintendent's report.
Well, unfortunately, I have yet another change. We have an issue that we're running into with the cafeteria at Sudlow. Mr. Flynn, if you wouldn't mind coming up to the podium and talk to us and walk us through this potential issue that we have.
Mr. Schneckhoff, I'd like to thank you for allowing me to speak on this issue in the midst of all the other things that we've had the opportunity to speak on tonight. And I want to talk about somebody here. Bruce Potts served the Davenport schools as a teacher and administrator. During Mr. Potts' 31 years as a middle school administrator, he oversaw the education of thousands of students, hired hundreds of teachers and administrators, was instrumental in multiple facility upgrades, and he served as an advocate for students and education within the district and the larger community. From 1974 to 1985, Mr. Potts was a social studies teacher at Sudlow, and from 2000 to 2016, he served as the principal at Sudlow Intermediate School, where he was instrumental in the creation and development of the Creative Arts Academy. Upon retirement in 2016, Bruce's commitment to the students in the Davenport schools manifested into a role on the Davenport School Board, where he continues to serve our community tirelessly and honorably. Mr. Potts' dedication to the Davenport schools and to Sudlow Middle School in particular has been extraordinary, and recognizing his decades-long work by naming the new Cafeteria Commons area in his honor would be a meaningful tribute to all this work. His example of consistency, fairness, concern for students, and dedication to the community as a whole serves as an example that the Sudlow community should aspire to. And it is truly my honor to be able to stand here and recommend that the Cafeteria Commons area at the new Sudlow building be named Bruce Potts Commons. We have Mr. Potts. I don't know if you recognize the face that's on the screen in front of you, but Sherry has something that she would like to share as well.
Hello, Bruce. It is my honor, and I'm very humbled, to write this letter recommending that the Sudlow Cafeteria be named in honor of Bruce Potts. I consider Bruce a colleague, a mentor, a friend. We met in 1989 when he interviewed me for a math teacher position at Smart Junior High. As a teacher under his leadership, he gently molded me into a teacher leader and encouraged me to pursue building leadership. He hired me into my first building leadership role as the associate principal at Smart Junior High. From there, Bruce became a colleague as I went on to lead my own buildings. Bruce taught me how to hire staff and how to hire well. Bruce maintained that if you hire people smarter than you don't have to work as hard. Let me continue here. Bruce carries the characteristics of colleague, mentor, and friend with anyone he meets and works with. Bruce creates leaders. The list of teachers who have gone on to be teacher leaders, coaches, principals, and even superintendents is long. He committed himself to providing the best education possible to the students in his classroom and school. He modeled building relationships with students. Kids just loved him. He would dress up as Captain Kirk. He could be found daily in the cafeteria. Even a student who was, quote unquote, in trouble in the office would leave his office with respect for Mr. Potts. In retirement, he continued to lead and mold as a school board member. He has left his stamp on students, staff, and the Davenport School District. I credit Bruce Potts as the person who set the foundation for the leader I was in education. He has carried the roles of teacher, principal, and school board member. Bruce continues to lead and serve students and staff of the Davenport School District. I can think of no greater honor than the Bruce Potts Cafeteria at Sudlow, where he taught and led. Congratulations, Bruce.
Mr. Potts, as you're walking over to greet your family and take a look, there are a few other letters from colleagues, and I'll just let you read those on their own. But Superintendent Schneckloth, I will turn it back over to you.
I don't think we need to say. I don't think we need to say anything else. That as we move Sudlow forward, we got to start hanging some of this stuff, and so it was really important for the Sudlow community and administrators and people. I joke around that when we were in the Marker, the Vibrant Arena, Bruce hired half the people in the arena, and it's probably more true than it is false. So, Bruce, this was really easy to to get moved through Sudlow and this entire community because of the leader that you are. And we're sorry we had to play a prank on you, but we didn't know how to do a surprise that is worthy of your honor. So, Madam President, that concludes the superintendent's report.
I am flabbergasted, and I am grateful, and I appreciate this more than you will ever know. I just said to Stacy before the meeting, because she said she missed being in the building with kids, and I said, "Can you tell them what I said to you?"
He said he missed the most. He said what he missed the most was going in the cafeteria every day and seeing all the kids.
That's where all the kids were. That's where you wanted to be. Thank you so much. Thank you, Teddy.
Thank you, Sherry.
Thank you. It's hard to top that. Board requests.
I do have a board request. It's the first time I've ever done this. So I have a request for information. I'd love to know the annual expense associated with level 2 investigation related to Title IX. Why am I making this request? Simple curiosity. Friday update would be sufficient. And the timing is when time permits.
Could I have a second?
Second.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Thank you. Anybody else? Okay. Board reflections? I don't know, how do you top that? Should we just, Director Potts, could I have a motion to adjourn?
I move we adjourn.
A second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed, same sign. Meeting adjourned.
Wonderful. Tribute and honor to your incredible.
Who seconded that?